Hi all, welcome to Daily News Analysis. Today is 30th April 2025. Let's look the main headlines. A powerful judicial remedy for waste management. Growth banks expanding tree cover is crucial. Then a model MCQ is also to be discussed. Let's move. First article is a powerful judicial remedy for waste management. It's actually a topic of GS3, environment, ecology, disaster management, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment. These all are the topics of GS3 and also the waste management aspects related to general studies. Paper 3 topic is also described in this article. Let's look what are the details of this article. The article mainly discussed about the plastic pollution, which has emerged as one of the most pressing environmental challenges globally. Despite various regulations and awareness campaigns, countries like India continue to grapple with inefficient waste management systems and underestimated data on public plastic waste. Before delving into the article directly, we should have a balanced viewpoint before we are going to delving into the article. So that's the main point in UPSC, to have a balanced viewpoint. So don't be biased. Be should have a we should have a balanced viewpoint. That's it. A new study published in Nature identifies India as the world's largest plastic polluter, contributing 9.3 million tons of plastic waste annually, almost one-fifth of global emissions. It's actually a factual data which might be useful for UPSC topic. This figure includes both plastic debris and emissions from open burning. The article reveals significant underestimation in India's official plastic waste data, especially as rural areas and informed recycling are largely excluded. Because this underestimation, why it happens due to the exclusion of informal recycling and rural areas. So, as per India's official reports, it actually reports around 0.12 kilogram plastic waste per capita per day, but the study finds it to be 0.54 kilogram. There is a mismatch. What's the reason behind the mismatch? This is due to the underestimation in India's official plastic waste data, especially as rural areas and informal recycling are largely excluded from this data. So this difference or that gap arises. Okay. The next point discussed in this article is the Himalayan region is particularly vulnerable, suffering from a lack of data and insufficient waste infrastructure. The article discusses that the Central Pollution Control Board's CPCB, it's actually a statutory body which was formed out of Water Act 1984. We all know this concept, which is very important for prelims. Actually, it has been one of the previous year prelims itself. Okay, as in the MCQ, we have discussed in past DNAs also about the Central Pollution Control Board. The Central Pollution Control Board CPCB's official data collection methodology lacks transparency and oversight. It's actually a critical viewpoint regarding the transparency issues, undermining the efforts to create effective waste management systems. It's actually mentioning the Himalayan region's waste management systems. Actually, there is a mismatch, or there is some transparency issues regarding the waste management systems in Himalayan region. The article underscores the need for robust data collection, geotagging of waste infrastructure, and functional links between local bodies and facilities like material recovery facilities and extended producer responsibility kiosks. These are some suggestions which are given in this article. So, kept in mind while writing the mains answer. Okay. There's an example regarding the Supreme Court's recent verdict on pollution by tanneries in Vellore, which reinforces the principle of polluter pays, is emphasizing the polluter's absolute liability for both compensation and restoration of environmental damage. So it's actually a case study which we can be mentioned in our mains answer. There is a pollution created by tanneries in Vellore, and the Supreme Court of India issues some guidelines regarding the direction given to the state and polluters to compensate affected persons. It's actually a positive move from the Supreme Court of India. So it should be kept in mind while writing the mains answer. The article concludes by stressing the necessity for continuing mandamus. Mandamus, we know it's a judicial oversight to ensure compliance and accountability in environmental governance, especially concerning waste management. While we are discussing about the environmental governance, we also should keep in mind about the ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance, which is a framework used to access an organization's business practices and performance on various sustainability and ethical issues, which is actually very important in the mains answer viewpoint. There is a question previously asked about the ESG, environmental, social, and governance, and also in the prelims also this environmental social governance was once asked. So what is this ESG? It's very important for prelims as well as this mains somewhat application level questions regarding this ESG, but prelims typically what's ESG can be asked, and there may be multiple options. And the correct option is it is a framework used to access an organization's business practices and performance on various sustainability and ethical issues. It also provides a way to measure business risks and opportunities in those areas. So it provides a way to measure business risks and opportunities in those areas. And we can also mention what is mandamus. Mandamus is we know it's a court order. It's actually under Article 32 and Article 226. That's the writ jurisdictions, right? We all know it's 32, Article 32 enforces the fundamental right, and it gave the Supreme Court the right to enforce or the power to enforce fundamental rights, while petitions under Article 226 can be filed in High Court to enforce both fundamental rights and legal rights. There is the Supreme Court writ jurisdiction is limited to fundamental rights, whereas the High Courts extend to a broader range of legal duties. What is mandamus? Mandamus is a court order from a higher court to a lower court or a government official commanding them to perform a specific legal duty that they have refused to fail to perform. In essence, it's a legal directive compelling action. Okay. Actually, it's a command. So that means we command. Mandamus, it's a Latin phrase meaning we command reflects its authoritative nature. Who is commanding? The higher court commands to a lower court or a government official, commanding them to perform a specific legal duty that they have refused or failed to perform. So here we've seen that the mandamus, that is um, we have seen the mandamus in this article. The article concludes by stressing the necessity for continuing mandamus to ensure compliance and accountability in environmental governance. Okay, it's actually performed by the higher court to a lower court or a government official. Then there is another article which is named as Growth Pangs. It's actually an editorial article. We can check the part of syllabus it covers. It's actually GS paper 3, Indian economy. You're aware of that by this time because we have dealt with multiple articles in related to just this GS3 paper. So now, at this point of time, you will be aware of the syllabus, right? If not, we can make it up. Okay, let's look the background. The index of industrial production, it's actually the highlight of this article. The index of industrial production is a key indicator that measures the performance of industrial sectors like manufacturing, mining, and electricity. It helps in understanding the pace of industrial activity in the country. In recent years, India has seen fluctuations in IIP influenced by both domestic and global factors. So this IIP is influenced by both domestic and global factors. IIP, India's industrial activity is slowing down. Actually, this will be more important for prelims. There, we should have a viewpoint on what's happening in our economy and how our various economic factors perform. Is it well performed or like a way? India's industrial activity is slowing down with the average IIP growth for 2024-25 at just 4%, the lowest in 4 years. This slowdown is mainly due to weak global economic conditions, slow export growth, low consumer demand, and reduced private investment. While power production rose, actually the power production rose. That's a key highlight that should be kept in mind while dealing with India's industrial activity. The power production actually rose in March due to seasonal demand. At that time, the demand is high due to the summer. The overall slowdown in mining and manufacturing is concerning. Actually, these all sectors are performing somewhat worse. Especially worrying is the negative growth in consumer non-durables. Consumer non-durables are showing a negative growth, showing the rural demand is struggling, mainly due to high food inflation and lower farm incomes. On the other hand, consumer durables grew, hinting at better urban demand. Consumer durables are growing, durable products like maybe appliances, home appliances, they all are growing. Actually, it hints at better urban demand. Okay, even though interest rates have lowered by RBI, recently we've seen the RBI reduces or lowers its interest repo rate by 6%. It's up as of now, it's actually 6%, right? Even though interest rates have been lowered by RBI to encourage investment, businesses are hesitant due to uncertainty in trade and demand. Another key concern is flat export growth, which is hurting India's MSME sector, a major exporter and job provider. Actually, the India's MSME sector is a major exporter and job provider. So there is a flat export growth, which is hurting India's MSME sector. Despite growing significantly in the past 5 years, MSMEs now face pressure due to weak global trade and strained relation with key partners like the US. MSMEs now face pressure due to weak global trade and strained relation with key partners like US. Recently, we saw the news about the US tariffs. Okay, India needs to strengthen its ongoing bilateral trade talks to support its 60 million MSMEs and safeguard around 250 million jobs. So, ongoing bilateral trade talks are very crucial in this aspect. Then there is another article, expanding tree cover is crucial. It's actually GSP per 3 topic regarding environment and ecology, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation. Again, background, let's check. India as a rapid developing nation with carbon heavy industries faces increasing climate change risks. Expanding tree cover is vital for reducing emissions and achieving sustainability goals. So it's regarding the expansion of tree cover. In current status, let's look. It's actually good for prelims as well as mains. Prelims, there should be an idea, overall idea regarding how the current status of India's forest. But for the mains, these factuals can be a great input for scoring good marks in the mains. India's forest and tree cover is 25.17%, well below the 33% target under the National Forest Policy 1988. Actually, under 1988's National Forest Policy, India's forestry cover is current India's forestry cover, which is 25.17%, is below that National Forest Policy's 33% target. Okay. Climate change, deforestation, and urbanization are degrading ecosystems and increasing carbon emissions. Tree plantation benefits are mentioned here. We all know trees act as natural, or forests act as natural carbon sinks, which helps in carbon sequestration. It's actually an important topic related to prelims. improves soil health, water retention, biodiversity, and climate resilience. So that is another benefit of tree plantation. Then we can look on some government and policy initiatives, which is actually good for writing mains. National Agroforestry Policy of 2014 and trees outside forests in India, which these all policies promote tree planting by farmers and industries. Then there is another mission called Green India Mission under NAPCC, that is actually a National Action Plan for Climate Change. We all know. So Green India Mission is a mission under National Action Plan for Climate Change, which aims at reviving degraded forests. Then another policy initiative we all know, that is corporate social responsibility, CSR projects. The share of profit should be given for social responsibility projects. That's actually corporate social responsibility. Corporates should give a part of their product profit for social responsibility initiatives and projects. So CSR, corporate social responsibility projects and carbon credit mechanisms are being used for afforestation. Afforestation is actually the planting of more trees. That's called afforestation. Okay, then let's look industrial and trade implications. The European Union Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism 2026 will tax carbon intensive imports. Carbon intensive imports will be taxed by EU Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. It's actually an EU tax on this carbon intensive imports, which is pushing Indian industries to invest in afforestation and carbon offset projects. India's industries are aligning with global sustainability standards to remain competitive. So Indian industries are aligning with this or global sustainability standards to remain competitive. So actually being competitive is one of the most important aspect in this global ecosystem. It's actually a result of globalization. So let's look the socio-economic impact. Large scale tree planting generates rural jobs. Actually, for planting these trees, there is employment creation. So it generates rural jobs, promotes agroforestry, and boosts farm incomes by 20 to 30%. It also empowers communities via training, financial support, and market access for forest-based products. So it's actually empowering the communities. That's another positive impact of this project. Then there are some challenges. Actually, the first challenge is the high cost of carbon credits. The cost of carbon credits are huge, so it's a little bit high. So it actually remains as a challenge in front of us. Then India lacks a comprehensive carbon trading policy and needs a national carbon registry. That's it. So India lacks a comprehensive carbon trading policy and needs a national carbon credit registry. That's actually the suggestions of this articles to combat these type of challenges. Then there are two way forwards given in this article. The first one is the urgent policy reforms to incentivize private afforestation investment. So need urgent policy reforms for incentivizing private afforestation investment. The second one is leveraging afforestation to achieve India's net zero target by 2070. This is actually the part of Panchamrit policy, which is given by India in one of the COPs that we are familiar with. So for making India's net zero target by 2070, we should leverage afforestation. Okay. So it will finally lead to a true Vikasit Bharat in aspects of environmental governance too. Then I have put one prelims question here. The question is, with reference to the Index of Industrial Production in India, IIP, consider the following statements. The IIP is a monthly indicator that measures the growth of various sectors like mining, manufacturing, and electricity. A decline in consumer non-durables production indicates rising rural consumption. Statement 3. Power production growth tends to peak cyclically during the summer season. Which of the following statements are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 1 and 3 only. Option C, 2 and 3 only. Option D, 1, 2 and 3 only. Sorry, 1, 2 and 3. So everyone just post the screen and everyone kindly types the answer in the comment box. So let's look the answer. Okay, how many of you correct this? You can comment in the comment box below. So hope you enjoyed the session, understand the key concepts we have discussed today. So we express our sincere thanks for your participation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see in the next class.